Okay. Sorry. Okay. Assuming everything is going well. Today I'm going to be working on some magic impacts and just kind of some sort of abstract kind of warps and whooshes and things like that. So, one sec. Okay, cool. I'm assuming everyone can... Yeah, I see my screen now up on the stream, so cool. Okay, so to start off with, I've kind of already started doing this a little bit. I started doing this yesterday. I'm just going to play you a few of the things I came up with yesterday. Let me bypass this real quick. It's a little loud. No? Is that a little loud? Turn down. Let me at least get a limiter on here so I can control my dynamics a little better. Okay. Cool. So, interesting, kind of weird little warpy, almost kind of watery sound. But it's kind of created in an interesting way. There's a sound designer that I follow on Twitter named Charles Deenan, and one of his tips the other day was to use de-reverb on explosion sounds. And it's kind of not the intended way of using a plugin. So there's a plugin like this guy, which kind of analyzes the volume envelope of sounds and can kind of determine what reverb is, so you can remove it. And it's good for like post-production stuff where you have a like line of dialogue that you recorded, and the mic wasn't close enough, and there's a bunch of room tone in it. Like you can hear the room that they're in. It's whenever you record someone and they're not right up next to the mic, you'll hear, of course, more of the room sound. So you can use plugins like this to kind of help control that. This was used on explosion sounds. So let me pull up my sound library manager. I've got a bunch of different types of explosions in here. I was going through these. So these are what they kind of used to sound like. So stuff kind of like that. And I'll go ahead and I'm going to just drag in some others. I was going down this list of them, so I was doing the Impacts Metal Yard. That's where I kind of left off yesterday. I'm going to make a new marker here just to keep track. And yeah, so I'm going to start pulling these in. Yeah, these are the ones I was working on. Metal Yard. Sci-fi exploders, I probably won't use these. They're a little too sci-fi for our game. Hold on a second. I gotta turn down my own headphone volume a little bit. So I probably won't use these. That one was okay. I can use that one. It's not too overtly sci-fi. Lots of sci-fi stuff has like these modulated delays. That one's okay. It's almost magical, actually. So yeah, like that one's very sci-fi. It's got that feedback delay kind of sound to it. That's, you know, kind of has the Transformer vibe to it. Transformers the movie. That's interesting. It had a little bit of a delay. That was interesting too. I've pretty much thrown in. Okay, so that one's all digital and distorted. I don't need that. Still kind of the same delay thing. That one's kind of cool. Like a big power down at the end. Okay, so let's just do that just to start. And then basically what I was doing is I'm just audio suiting these. Audio suite is when you just process the file like immediately, as opposed to putting it on an insert where you can tweak it later. You just kind of commit to it. You're like overwriting the file, sort of. So the way I was doing it is actually just, you do a learn pass. The plugin listens. Okay, see, learn automatically turned off. Then I'm just going to turn the reduction all the way off and enhance dry signal and just leave it at that. Okay, so let's see what it did. It's all right. So I'm going to hit undo real quick so you can hear what it was before. Doesn't do a whole lot until like maybe 3/4 of a second into it. So the first pass doesn't do a whole lot, but then I'll do it again. Tell it to learn again. It kind of listens to the file and automatically creates this reverb profile. Okay, so I don't know if you saw that, but once it's done playing the file once, all these sliders jumped. And that's just kind of these are the different frequency ranges of the reverb profile. So it's kind of like a EQ at this point. I'll just kind of play with it and you'll see what I mean. See how that's changing the tone? So I basically took the mid-range and said take more of that out. More of that out from the reverb. And I can make it have like no bass if I turn this all the way up. So you took all the bass out. This is increasing the amount of low end in the reverb profile that it is then removing. So this is how much reverb it's trying to remove. So you can do the opposite and actually like add reverb. -10. Which kind of makes for some interesting things too, actually. I'm not really going for that right now. I want like tighter sounds. So I mean, this is already pretty cool in my opinion. Now the only thing that's weird with this plugin is, you remember what it sounded like before? It's a little more aggressive once I actually hit render than when I'm just previewing it. That one's okay. we'll probably come across another one where it's a little more than what you want. So yeah, now we just kind of have an interesting sort of abstract, not for any sort of specific ability or power or even class, really. These are just kind of like impact sounds. Like the other thing too is like I can fade in this impact, right? So like if I just cut off the head of the explosion, it's I could use that part as some sort of, you could think of like maybe activating some sort of ability or something. Obviously, this is leaning towards magic stuff, right? But like, it's almost electrical and sounds kind of like electricity. So it's good to have a source library of stuff like this. I mean, it's got like this low end rumble here that pretty much all these are going to have. Just based on what I was doing yesterday, it seems like they always kind of have this little bumps in there and stuff like that, but that's fine. So yeah. And sometimes they don't work out. This is a bit of an unpredictable way to work. You're kind of trying to come across happy accidents a little bit. I mean, you can kind of tell that there's certainly a range that's going to happen just based on all of what I did yesterday. Yeah, these metal ones were kind of cool because I could kind of use them for any sort of like melee ability that has maybe some sort of magic component to it. Like if you're getting hit with a sword, but it's doing more than just a straight up damage, it's applying some sort of effect or something. That sounds weird. See, it's got the metal ring into it. Man, they're just so weird to me, and they're just real interesting. So I'd done this before. Like, I feel like I came across this like many years ago doing some de-reverbing, and then I kind of forgot about it. So I was like, I should really like keep a journal of just weird sound design things, just because sound design is like you're always doing things like the wrong way. You're always like plugging this into this, and that's not really the way it's supposed to happen. So I mean, even just like going back to like the history of music, like guitar distortion, when guitar distortion first came out, like in like the 50s and stuff, when people were, turning their amplifiers up too loud, like that was kind of unintended, but they're like, hey, that's cool. I mean, it kind of took like the Beatles to change the way recorded music happened, because like before the Beatles, it was like an audio engineer was like a dude in a white lab coat, and they had everything like specified beforehand, like, oh, this is how you mic up this instrument, you use this microphone from this far away at these settings, and yada yada yada. It was very, very methodical. And then the Beatles came in and were like, well, no, we want to do this, and let's put the microphone right up to the bass drum, and let's use that compressor like way more than we probably should. And like they kind of changed the way music sounded, not just from like a musical standpoint, but more from like a production standpoint. So in a way, they were kind of like some of the early sound designers. Okay, that was a bit of a rant, but yeah, it helps to write stuff down. Because like in your head, you know the right way to do things. Because that's what you've been taught. And then sometimes you forget the weird ways that you did things. Okay, let's go on to the next one. One passive learn. Okay, so all those sliders jumped. Let's turn this up. Let's just hit render, because the first pass doesn't usually do anything that interesting. Let's hit learn again. Okay, so already getting a little weird. Let's... I'm going to cut this tail off, because that way the sound will repeat quicker. I mean, here, like, you can do this. This is what it's removing. So that's all the stuff it's removing from that other sound. Let's just see that. See what that sounds like. See, like, that to me just sounds so much more watery than what we were just hearing. So that's the only little frustrating thing with this, is that whenever I hit render, it like seems to do more than what it's previewing in this plugin. So the way I've been getting around that is kind of, I think this artifact smoothing has something to do with it, and I think just the overall reduction does. So it's just, that's what I'm hoping to get. A little better, but see, it's still just, it sounds more muffled to me, which is weird. Don't really want it that muffled. There's definitely more high end. So let's turn this down so it doesn't remove so much high end and see if that gets me closer. Maybe a little bit. Okay, I think that's better. I don't know. Interesting little warp. I don't know if you saw my stream a few weeks ago, but I was like working on sort of audio identifiers for certain types of magic components. Like, you get hit with something and it slows down your movement speed, or it applies a damage over time to you, or it increases the damage that you're going to be taking, or, you know, there's all these different things, concepts that, you know, will come from different types of abilities. You know, it's not just that one ability will be the one source of this type of modifier or whatever. So anyways, my intention was to create some unique identifiers for those type of things when they happen in game. And like I just didn't have a lot of good source material for it, so this is kind of what this is doing. This is kind of like a pre-production session. Like I'm not really designing anything specifically for a certain ability. It's more just kind of generic use stuff that I will then kind of mix in with other things. But like, you know, I mean, maybe there's something in here, you know, I don't know, maybe a slowdown or something. Just, that's me playing it at half speed just to hear what it sounded like. So, yeah, okay. All right, let's go on another one. This one's got a big metallic ring in it. I'm curious to see what that does. Don't need that tail. Let's just go from process it once. Learn it again. There it does again. That's frustrating. It does more than what I want it to. So I would almost use this part more than I would this part. It's just kind of noisy and nondescript. It's not very distinctive. It's just, I mean, you could use it for like the beginning of maybe an explosion or something. You know, like just like the very, very head of it could be used in an explosion, but it's just kind of white noisy. But this could almost be like the apply sound of something. I mean, do a little high pass there to get some of that rumble out. But, you know, sounds magical, which I think is cool. All right, let's go to the next one. I'm going to do a fair amount of these. And then I have another idea that I'm going to do with this plugin. So I'm going to make a bunch of these, and then I'm going to throw all of those into this thing. And this thing is going to, like, just randomize layers for me. They call it S-Slayer. Or Slayer. I just like to say Slayer. It's a good band. Is that the one I was on? Yeah. Okay. Oh, I didn't turn down my reduction all the way, that's why. Okay. Yeah, so another one where I don't really like the head. This artifact smoothing, if you listen, it kind of makes things a little more watery sounding. They call it musical noise. It's sort of digital sounding sometimes. You hear it in the tail a little bit. It's not real obvious on this one. Sometimes it is. Alright, let's just see where that gets us. So, yeah. That one's not as interesting as some of the others. It's a little white noisy, but it has kind of a cool to it. I mean, the tails are always just rumble once you're done processing them. So you don't get a whole lot of usable sound out of it. You know, you're talking like a second, maybe. I mean, back here is just rumble. This one might not work too well. We shall see. Kind of electrical, sort of. Let's see where that got us. So it could totally be like a magic projectile launch sound or something like that. It's a little electrical sounding, but like not too much, which I think is good. As I've said before in these live streams, it's real easy to go sci-fi sometimes. I mean, magic is like you're trying to process sounds, but you don't want them to sound digital, so like it's got a little bit of a tail that I think is digital sounding, but so yeah. Interesting. Big pillowy poof. Boof. That's cool. I like that. Ooh, sounds distorted. Let's try it again without the enhanced dry signal. I think sometimes that's making things clip. Okay, I don't know if you guys hear this, but I still hear a little bit of digital clicking in there, so... Hey, they make a plugin for that. I think you gotta do that. Let me just hit render. See what it... Yeah. I think it's gone. Let's try a second pass. Yeah, that's better. Oh, the world of iZotope. They're a company that makes a lot of these noise reduction type things. You've seen me use like the denoiser plugin before on these streams when I was doing ambiances. They're amazing. Like spectral repair. Hey, that's that sound. Very white, noisy sound. You can do stuff like... It's kind of like an EQ, but visual, sort of, and doing things in different ways. So look, see, I just took out all that section. Now it's going to sound real phasey and hollow in, like, the mid-range. Anyways, back to what I was doing. All right. One learn pass. And a render. Cut off the tail. Do another learn. Okay. It's okay. Sounds kind of watery, almost. One pass. One more. Ooh, this one's interesting already. Huh, that's cool. Let me cut off this tail so it'll repeat faster. Yeah. See how different that was? That's totally not what we were listening to. Let's try that. Not quite what I want. It's too much. So I definitely could see this one being used in like an electrical lightning based. Sounds kind of like processed thunder or lightning or something. So it's going to sound kind of similar, it seems like. Huh. It's cool. I dig it. I mean, that could almost be like the tail of like a distant explosion or something. You know, like if you heard something from across the battlefield. I'm drinking my tea. Okay, so that's actually all the ones from that little batch that we just did. I was on Sci-Fi Exploders C6. These sounds are coming from a pack that I bought. Very, very useful stuff. So I guess let's just make another marker and we'll go through some more. I might move off of Sci-Fi Exploders. Let me see what other categories I have. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, we could be doing this all day. Even though that one's very digital, I just want to see what it does to that one. I'm looking for stuff with motion and movement in it usually. It's a very interesting attack. Again, very digital, but I'm gonna see what it does with it since it seems like that was okay. Could be cool. That one sounds a lot like thunder. Okay, now that we're done with those sci-fi exploders. I'll try a couple of these. I think these are too muffled sounding to be much use. You know, they might work as good distance material for like explosions across the other side of the battlefield. We'll see. I might want to go back and pull more of those out. So let's do some of these. I'm going to go ahead and just crop the tails off a lot of these. So I'm not interested in the rumbles anyways. And it'll save up time and processing and in just me listening to the whole friggin' file. Okay. Kind of watery. Which we do have water abilities, so not that that's not useful. Very watery. I kind of went for more watery. It's almost too watery. Let's try that again. Eh. Yeah, it's okay. Oops, I forgot to turn my reduction all the way up. That's okay, let's just see where we're going with this. This one's probably too sci-fi. Let's just see what this does for the hell of it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. This one's not that interesting. It's a very weird attack. Kind of over processing this one. Don't know how useful that one is. In fact, I'm just going to delete it. Kind of watery again, too. It's okay. Oh, I need to do something real quick. Give me just a minute here. Okay. Okay, this one's very digital sounding. See what it's going to do. Learn it again. Very electrical sounding, like, to me. I wouldn't use the tail. It's the only part I'd use. I like the tail, actually. This part. It's cool. Okay, I think these are... No, these are still sci-fi exploders. This is really weird. That's a weird one. So different than what I was just listening to. Like, there's so much more tail when I'm previewing it. And it's like, by here, it's gone. That one's still kind of sci-fi sounding to me. I don't think I'm going to keep that one. Man, I need to turn on the AC. It's hot in here already. 9 o'clock. Whoops. Sorry, I just hit the mic. Yes, I do work from my garage. I have a studio. It's where I am now. It's cool. Kind of like lightning. Probably was lightning in that sample to begin with. That's why it sounds like that, I would guess. Okay, so we're on to different ones. Now we're on the different categories. So let's see what these do. These are just slams. These might not be that interesting because they don't have much going on in the tail. Yeah, it's kind of weird. That's almost more interesting. Sure, why not? Let's use the plug. Let's use this plugin the wrong way. The wrong way. We're like using this wrong plugin an additionally wrong way. getting very ringy on the tail. I don't know. These slams might not be that great of a category. I like that attack. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Oops. That's kind of cool. Although it's more than what I was originally bargaining for. Don't want it to kick in so quick. Weird. This one might be a little more interesting. Yeah, that's cool. I always like things that go pow. I'm a sucker for that. That's cool. Of course, I'm going to hit render and it's not what I'm listening to. That's pretty cool. I like it. Yay. Okay, impact slams are not a useless category here. Yeah, it's cool. I realize this is like the same thing over and over again, but I'm making a lot of them. Don't like that one. It has like a second impact sound in it that I wasn't really fond of. Okay. Projectile launch of some kind. Oops, did that too early. This one's a little weird. It's okay. It's okay. Again, I wouldn't use all this stuff. I mean, you can hear kind of what this is doing. These are basically, this plugin works, I'm assuming just by listening to it, it sounds like it's envelope followers and EQ. I mean, I'm sure it's more complicated than that, but an envelope follower looks at the amplitude of the sound and can kind of follow the volume curve of something. And it's doing that in these 4 different bands. And it's creating these sweeps as the sound decays. That's why you're hearing all this at the end of the... Well, they're going down, but... Those are like EQ sweeps, basically. Oh yeah, and then these are the Thunder ones. I'm curious to see what these do. They don't have a lot of high frequency information. So it's weird. So one thing that could be cool from this is, what does this thing sound like twice as fast and pitched up an octave? It's kind of cool. So it's becomes sort of a projectile. There's some kind of punchy little explosion of some kind. Still a little muffled sounding, obviously, and I could do it twice, but sounds like hitting a piece of plastic then. Let's go back. So maybe that's what I'll do. I'll do a bunch of these and then I'll speed them up. Well, I've only got 2 more, but I could throw some more in and then pitch them up. What am I looking for? There we go. Learn it. Learn it again. Yeah, just such a... Okay. This one's getting a little wobbly at the end there. Makes it even more wobbly when you shorten the tail length. Okay. Curious to see. I left a lot of tail on that one just because I'm curious to see what happens when I speed that one up. Pitch shift. Everything twice as fast. Render. This one too. Now that one's dumb. Wow, it's real wobbly. You hear it going brr, 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 brr. It's real watery. Well, it's interesting. It's kind of digital. Could possibly use it. I actually like that. It's cool sounding. So I'm going to see if I can try and get a few more of those. So let's go back and we will throw in a few more of these thunder blasts. What are these deep ones? I don't know why they're... Okay, I'm going to try speeding it up first. and then doing the de-reverb. Just curious to see how that works. That sounds like one of the other ones I've kind of already done. So, might not be that unique. Oh, I didn't do 20 there. I mean, they're kind of in the same family. That's one of the downsides of this, though, that I've found is like if I'm trying to make like multiple variations of the same sound, it's rather difficult because they all kind of turn out so differently. There's certainly some similarities between all of them, but I'll just have to see. That might be an issue when I'm using them in abilities, you know, when you're trying to make like 4, 5, 6 variations on them. Okay. Where was I? Right there. I think I'm going to stick with de-reverbing it first and then pitching it afterwards. Okay, I'm just going to make a marker right here just so I can keep my place. I'm going to shorten these because I don't need all these long tails. Okay. What was the one I was working on? Yeah, this one. Did I already do this one once? Twice. I think I already did that one twice. Let's move on to this one. Okay, I'm going to try and speed through these a little bit. I'm not trying to listen to them so much just because I know that I'm going to speed them up at the end here, so... This one's got a good kind of sound to it, which when sped up will sound interesting, I think. It's clipping a little bit. I hear a little bit of crackle there. Ooh. This one's not that interesting. We'll see. Okay, I've got 6 more. This one's not that interesting either. Alright. That one's a little better. Maybe. Yeah, that one's kind of cool. It's got a little flap to it. Thup. Yeah, it's interesting. Let's try it again. I'm hearing a little bit of clipping on that one too. It's kind of boring. It's just a sweep. Too sweepy. I don't like them when they're real sweepy like that. It's just like a... That was just dumb. I don't even want to mess with that one. This one's kind of doing the same thing. That's going to sound like a squish when it's sped up twice. Oops. Okay, one more. Yeah, these last few haven't been that great. Alright, whatever. We'll see. So now I switch to my pitch shift plugin. Speed it up twice. I'm going to do create individual files because I'm going to tell it to do this clip by clip. And I'm going to select all these last ones and then hit render. It's taking a while. Okay. Let's see what they sound like. That one's cool. I like that one. So then if I hit shift and play in Pro Tools, it plays at half speed so we can hear what it sounded like before. Okay, this is regular speed. These are the sped up ones. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, that's that one. Definitely hear distortion in that one. That one's kind of interesting. Yeah, that was that one I liked, I think. That one's dumb. Oop, don't like that one. Don't like that one. This last three I did not like, even while I was making them before. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, that one still seems so different compared to these newer ones I made. This one's got a little distortion in it, so I'm gonna remove some of that. And still hear it a little bit. And this plugin's amazing because I can just use the default settings pretty much in it. Still hear like a couple. See if I see it's doing 17 clicks repaired. See right there. It's really like this part. This part where I'm hearing a little bit of a. Still hear it. That I did not hear it. I might be hearing it. I'm fooling myself. I don't think it's there anymore. Certainly much better than it was. That one's got a little bit of it too. A little crackle. Let's just do one pass. Maybe I hear a little bit of it. Nope, don't hear it. That's a cool one. Okay, that's interesting. So, okay, I got 30 minutes left on this stream, so let's just take, yeah, we're going to take all these and export them. Not as MP3s, but as they are into not there. No. Give me back to my Pro Tools sessions. There we go. Into here. It's exporting all of those. Okay. And Then I'm going to open up this dude. And then I'm going to open up that button. Let's remove this test that I had in there earlier. Yes. And then I'm going to... These are all the ones I made. I'm going to drag them in there. So there's 70 of them. That's an important number to keep track of. Okay, so we have 70 samples in this thing now. Close that. And then I want to restrict this to 70. Okay. So this is that sample layering, hence the name S-Layer. Sample layering plugin that I was talking about earlier. And the interface is kind of complicated, but I actually haven't used this in like years. I specifically did this stream this way because I wanted to get back into this plugin because it's cool to use. It tends to get a little digital, as we'll probably see, but basically it's got eight slots for samples, and it's going to pick 6 from that group that I just dropped in there and play them all at once. So let's just trigger it and see what we have. Whoops. Oh, why is it not working? Oh, well, that was rather... oh, is it muted? No. It's not making anything. Oh, come on. Why not? Why not? Really? I just had this set up. Can't I play it in here? Okay, it sees the samples. Those are the things we made. Weird. Why? I mean, seriously, I just was friggin' using this. I just tested it. Because I had a test sound in here, and it's like, okay, great, that's working. It's not even triggering anything. So there it used it. Well, I have 70 in here, so I know that you're supposed to do is restrict the number that it picks from. So it can do 0 to basically 128 samples in here. And then you're supposed to say that, see, I've got sample, it's picking from sample 0 to 70 is what I did. It doesn't like my map for whatever reason. Boo! I mean, I just heard it spit out something, so, like, it found one sample, but it's like it doesn't, like... Man, that sucks. Alright, well... let me just start over. Don't really want to do that, but... Okay, here's my S layer. Okay, so see, there it works. I go to the user one, and it should be empty. Okay, so then these are all the things it's currently using. Remove. Yes. Let's drag these back in. Oh, I see what it did. It's got all of them on one key. See that? That's annoying. So, how do I drag them out so that this is tedious? I thought there was a better way to do this. I read the manual, I swear. Well, I don't really want to do this for 70 of them. But by the time I read the manual and figure out how to do it, probably could have just dragged out a bunch. I won't do all 70, but I'll do enough here. I'll do a lot. See, it's got the stack of all of them on all on one key, so okay, so that's 2 octaves, so that's 24. Let me do sorry for the tedium. But what am I talking about? You guys watch live stream of programmers. That's tedium. Programmer dig. Click and drag. 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 Okay, can I just move this whole one out of here? How did I move it before where I like grabbed the whole thing? I don't know how that happened. Did I grab it up here or something? No. Did I grab it down at the bottom? Oop, no, that's definitely not what I don't want to do. Maybe it's like a... Still just one. Maybe like a shift click? No. Control click? Whatever. That just means that if that one key gets triggered, it's probably going to be really loud because I think it'll play all of them. Oh, remap to single notes. Heh. Do I want to do that now? All right. Since I don't have much time left, I'm not going to mess with it. But I think that's the button I should have done. That was what I should have done. I forgot about that step. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done this. Okay. So anyways, we have this one, which is 49. So let's drag this down to 49. Okay. 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 So it's working. What I don't want it to do is a lot of this delay stuff. So this is your modulation curve down here. You can set this to like a whatever you want. I'm just going to use A. I'm assigning this modulation curve to affect these different parameters. I don't want things to start. This is the start position of the sample, so you can start like halfway in, which is why there's like no attack for a lot of those, because it was randomizing all of that. Wait, why is A suddenly that? I set it to random. This might be too digital. I don't really want all these reverbs. That's probably what's happening. So these are sends for 1 and 2. So there's a verb and a delay. I don't really want this delay. There's some other weird things that I gotta... Maybe I just don't want this start thing at all. I don't think I want any of that because I want all the samples to start at the beginning. It's a little too granular because I got this grain delay thing happening. Grain on. Oh, you can turn it on or off. There, so. There we go. It's weird. There's not as much impact as I thought there was going to be. It's probably because I don't have a certain setting set up. Let's turn this off. Let's restrict the stretching so it's not so. was interesting. That's funny. Let's restrict the pitch so it's not. Oh, and then this volume remix is kind of what is killing a lot of it too. Let's keep all the volume. Oh, there's an additional parameter there. Why can't I see that very well? Mute. I don't want things to mute randomly, so let's not do that. Don't want that either. It's just because I loaded in a preset that kind of had all this other stuff happening. Let's keep the speeds at 1 times and then not randomize that. If this is highlighted, it means it's randomizing this parameter or you know, this button or whatever. Reverse is fine. I don't really need stuff randomly panned either. So, oh, envelope. Ha! That's why. Jeez. This user preset should have been more like a blank slate, but it came with all this stuff like already loaded into it. I don't want any of this randomized, really. I just want it to play. Okay. Okay, that's acting like how I was expecting it to a little bit more now. So, it's getting pretty grainy with the pitching, but you can tell this to happen. I don't think I want these sounds to reverse because they're all impacts, so. It's clipping a little bit, so. So, see how I set this button assigns this modulation curve, whatever I draw in here, to modulate the pitch of all 8 of those samples over time. So let's see. Let's do the granular again. just don't get why it's so like muffled sounding. I think I'm, yeah, it's like I. I wish there was a way to just reset this to its default settings. Stretch. Is that the grain? I wonder if that's what that is. It might be the stretch doing that. Yeah, I think it is. So like if I make them all, if I hit random, it resets all the parameters. If I hit trigger, it just keeps the last one. So let's do it different. Let's do an up for this. There's an easier way to do that. Yeah, there we go. And we'll make stretch go that way instead. It should be doing it. Doesn't look like it is. Oh, I've got that randomized. That's why. I guess all those are doing that. Turn that off. Too many things. There we go. Okay, so this is literally like the happy accident generator plugin, because it's meant to just randomize lots of these things. I mean, these are like when you're trying to come up with variations for sounds, you typically mess with a lot of these type of concepts. So like on this page, you'll obviously layer different samples on top of each other. That's what this little module is doing. You'll mess with the pitch. You'll mess with the volume. You mess with pan. I'm not too concerned with that at this point. These are delays and stretching things that are kind of further manipulating the sound. And then this is just kind of different filtering these last three. This is the envelope part. And then these are some just reverb is the only one I have turned on. So it's randomizing the amount being sent to the reverb. This auto button is like a compressor, I think, of some kind, or it's just auto volume, but so the digital part is probably coming from all this stretching. And I don't know if I really even want this stretching. Let's keep it to a smaller amount. This is how you restrict the min and max values of what it's going to randomize. Like, that was kind of interesting. So what you would do then is bounce this out to a track. I already have a track there for that called print. Now if you watch this meter here, you can see it's going there. And then what you'd kind of do is you'd sit here and so that was a cool little just impact sound we just made, right? And play it back. And it was from all those different layers. Then you'll kind of sit here and randomize. That was a little weird. It's a little grainy. Huh. Why did it have that? I don't know what phase is doing. Just inverting the phase of the sound? I don't see if that's going to do that much. That one would be cool. It's just got a weird little hiccup at the end. I don't know why it's doing that. Maybe one of my samples had a little bit extra space at the beginning of it or something. Don't know. I'm going to record that one anyways. Just I'll have to edit out that last part. It gets a little glitchy sometimes. Like I said, it's good for digital stuff. I'm trying to. This is the first time I've ever used this trying to do Magic stuff. I've used it before, but it's got that little hiccup again. That's annoying. I don't like that, but that was a cool sound. Fortunately, the hiccup is far enough into the sound. I can just cut it out. I don't need all that. So it's a little distorted. I mean, I'm assuming that's because this volume is too loud. See, like if you have problems, you can come in here and like solo. So see, that's what that sound is. Solo this one. It's like not even registering. Is that because of the pitch? It's too much? See, and then you can go in and try and figure out exactly why that thing is sounding that way. If you're having an issue. So like, is it the filter? I think that doesn't even seem to do anything. It's weird. Don't know why I'd be doing that. Excuse me. So that one's a little distorted sounding, but I'm trying to figure out if it's because the volume's too loud. I don't know. So I need to figure out why it's so crackly. I don't think it's the samples. I think the samples were fine. But that's kind of the end of my stream for now. You can see kind of where I'm going with this stuff. It's cool for like I was saying, kind of like a happy accident generator. You know, you kind of can determine the min and max values by what you load into this thing, right? So you have an idea of what all the sounds are going to be like, but then loading them into here, it gives you further variation of the pitching and sample choices and stuff like that. So thanks for watching, guys. You guys, well, yeah, I don't really have more time, so I will talk to you guys next time. See you later.